Well, Words Out West is on the road again. In fact, Words Out West is underway for 2023. The literary festival started by Western Downs Regional Council is underway. And, of course, one of the events that is happening a couple of times in the lead up to the main weekend of events in Dalby, which is coming up on March the 24th, is happening tomorrow night and Saturday night. Schooners and Stories with Brent Tate. NRL legend, Maroons hardman, comeback king. During his career, Brent Tate played 229 NRL games, included in those 23 State of Origin appearances and 26 Test appearances. He's been described as rugby league's most inspirational player, in honour of the fact that for many years playing on the field he was battling through chronic pain as a result of some nerve damage, and indeed played in a neck brace for the last few years of his career. But this is going to be a great night at Wandoan and Killenbun. Wandoan at the Junda Hotel Motel on Friday night, between 6:30 and 8:30, and then at Killenbun at the Bun Hotel, between 6:30 and 8:30. You can grab your tickets. The details are on the Words Out West website, but it's a night at your local you won't want to miss. Brent Tate joins me now for a chat. Brent, good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Mate, great to have a chat with you. Tell me, when you first signed on to play first-class professional football, would you have described yourself as a storyteller? Would you have seen that this sort of event that you're going to be hosting this weekend would have ever loomed in your future?
No, not in a million years. I guess, when you're lost in the world of playing rugby league, you're just so heavily focused on, your career and, trying to get the best out of it. You don't sort of give too much thought to what might come post-rugby league. But, mate, it's been a really good journey since I've retired. I don't miss playing footy. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved it. But, to be able to do things like I do now, to be able to go out to places and share my story, and hopefully, some people can pick something up out of it, that's a real bonus for me, and something that is nice to do. Like, it's great for us to be able to go and share those stories, and for people to actually, I guess, in some way be interested and want to know about your career and how you got to where you got to, and some of the challenges and some of the good times along the way. So, yeah, mate, it's been it is a little bit surreal, but something that I certainly enjoy doing.
It's interesting that when you say you don't miss it, and as you've said, no disrespect to the game, obviously you loved playing it, but what's the reason for that? Is it because now you've got something that has replaced football in your life, or was it never, did you never live, eat and breathe it the way some players, because some players in all codes of football, and in fact other sports as well, find retirement pretty tough going, because when they retire they lose their identity, they lose track of who they are, because everything they've done for their working lives have been tied around their professional involvement in a game. Why is that different for you?
Mate, there's a couple of things I think to answer that question. I think to be good at rugby league and do it for a long time, you have to eat, breathe, and sleep it. And if you want to do it for a long time and be at the top, mate, it controls your whole life, from the way you sleep, the way you eat, you drink, your diet, the time you go to bed at night. So it completely controls your whole life. Even away from the rugby league and the training paddock, it's all about, preparing and getting yourself in the best physical shape to play on the weekend. So, that part of it I don't miss, that having to have that discipline and routine and, absolute dedication to something to be your absolute best. And when you're a professional athlete, mate, there's a whole heap of pressure and expectation that comes at playing at that level, and I don't miss that constant pressure, and I don't miss the constant, I guess, where every move you make is under the microscope. So, look, I'm making it sound a lot worse than what it is, but if I'm being honest, they're just things that I don't miss, and I'm one of the lucky ones, I think, that was ready to retire and sort of had a bit of a plan in the way around leaving the game. So, but look, as I said, I loved every minute of it. Don't get me wrong, but there's just I'm very, very glad to be now a spectator. And the other thing I don't miss is the injuries and the Monday morning when you wake up after a game on a Sunday, and 2 or 3 days have been really sore and sorry, and then have to do it all again on the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the way you describe it, people would fully understand. There's a lot not to miss, but there's a lot of commitment made, for the enjoyment of getting out and playing, that game on the weekend. There's a lot that you go through. I'm curious, though, you made a good point there, that scrutiny that players are under, and you don't miss that, and at times it seems very untense and maybe a little bit unfair, but it strikes me that in your career that level of scrutiny would have really ramped up as you were playing. So 2001, when you first started playing, social media wasn't even a thing back then, even though mobile phone technology was. By the time you got out of it, getting into 2013, 2014, that scrutiny was well and truly there. So, I don't know, did that make it easier or harder, the fact that that scrutiny sort of ramped up as you kept playing?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Look, I guess I was never one to be in trouble so I guess that part of it never worried me. But I guess even now in today's game, there's so much content that they need to cover, because there's a football show every single night of the week on Fox or on Channel 9 and all the radio shows. So every little thing that happens in our game now becomes a headline. Even the other day with Jerome Luai and Salmon, having an argument after the game. I mean, mate, that happens 100 times a week in a lead up to a game, where now that becomes a huge story. And, someone like Jerome Luai is getting told he needs to pull his head in when,
it was nothing.
It was nothing. But,
yep.
But I mean, that's the level of scrutiny the players are under now. And, look, at the end of the day, you can't complain, because they get paid really, really well to take that on board. And I've always been, at the end of the day, if you're going to put your hand out and take that sort of money, you've got to be, there's always the yin and the yang. There's going to be a bit of a downside to it, and that's it. So, but for me, I certainly noticed from 2001 when I first started to when I retired, mate, it was, it certainly ramped up, because in that time, obviously, mobile phones and the picture phones and camera phones had come in. So that was a bit of a game changer for everyone playing sport, I think. So, yeah. Mate, it was interesting, but like I said, playing rugby league was an unbelievable life. I would have kept doing it if I could have. Unfortunately, injury, sort of ruined that. But, mate, it was a great way to, spend a good part of my life.
Absolutely.
It was great fun.
Indeed. And some good stories to share on Friday and Saturday night. And in the short time I've got left, I've only got about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. But you'll be obviously talking, a lot of these stories would come from your autobiography, Iron Will, and a lot of that, I guess, dealt with, you played a lot of your career in a lot of pain and overcame a lot of injuries, but the repercussions of those injuries were a lot of pain and not playing in the ideal circumstances. How do you choose from all of the stories in the book as to what you're going to share at events at a pub like you're doing this week?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I've got a bit of a story to tell with injuries and that sort of stuff. And I think the great thing is, mate, is we'll be able to get up and have a yarn, and then I think people have obviously got the opportunity to then ask questions, and I can mingle around people. So, mate, I've always been a real open book about my career. I don't like to mince my words. It is what it is, and I hope I get the chance to talk to people about the injuries and some of the experiences I've had with coaches like Wayne Bennett, who's unbelievable. So, yeah. Mate, we'll just pick a few, and then hopefully, I can get to mingle and people can get to find out what they really want.
It sounds like we're going to get the stories, away from the newspaper headlines, get the real stories.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess that's you get our perspective, I guess. And
Yep.
As I said, I've never been one to sugarcoat it. Love rugby league. Took a huge toll on took a huge part of my life as well. So. Always happy to share those stories, mate. If someone gets something out of it, I think that's the real bonus for me.
Brent Tate, great to have a chat to you this morning. Enjoy your time in our part of the world. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting out there. Thank you.